Welcome to your weekly General Aviation News Update. We have 4 stories for you this week, and surprise, that's right, we are in Oshkosh this week, and we will be talking about a flight that was going on the way to New York and get damaged with hail pretty badly. We'll talk about Embraer that is creating a new facility to build EVTOL aircraft. And then we'll talk about first officers that are not taking promotions. And then lastly, we'll talk about what's happened at Oshkosh so far, and then all the things that are to come. So let's get to it. The first story this week is a story about an airliner that was on the way to New York from Milan in Italy. This is a Delta flight. They were forced to do a diversion because they got hit by hail on takeoff. You can see the photos here. The damage is actually pretty extreme. They were interviewing passengers that obviously were freaking out in the back of the airplane when they first took off. Everything was normal, and then they hit a hailstorm and heard noises they never heard before, as per the passengers. I'm sure it was not a fun experience. It looks like everybody was safe on board, but I'm sure their flight is going to be delayed at that stage until they can find a new one. The next story this week is Embraer, the Brazilian company that is working on building a plant to build EVTOL aircraft. They are partnering with a company called Embraer Mobility, although it's not a partnership, it's actually a company owned by Embraer that is going to be building EVTOL in Brazil. And so this is kind of one of the first in this big competition between Joby and all the big companies building EVTOL. Everybody's talking about building these factories, and it looks like Embraer, which really hasn't been on the map all that much for air mobility, now is kind of taking the lead and is going to be building quite a few of them. We'll put a link down in the description so you can read more about this story, but this is a big thing that we've seen at Oshkosh this year, is a lot of air mobility companies, and I'm sure in the future, next 5 years, we are going to see even more of them presenting their products. The next story this week, we want to talk about first officers that apparently are trying to avoid going up in rank, promotion offers from the airlines in order to maintain the schedules that they've had and were comfortable with. I'm going to read you a little passage here from Reuters. It says that 1,000 unfilled captain positions are reported at United Airlines. This is according to the Allied Pilot Association at American Airlines as well. They're saying that twice as many right seaters are resisting the shift to the left seat than 7 years ago. The reason being quoted here is that when you move up from being first officer to captain, typically you have to change base, which means that now you have to commute a lot longer. They have to get a different schedule, and it's not appealing apparently to first officers. They said that 7,000 first officers have been avoiding promotion in that time. The airline says that they're working on it by addressing the quality of life in some contracts and making some schedule changes in order to try to get more captains, more first officers to be in the captain seat. I'm sure this is not helping companies like United Airlines, where their pilots recently went on strike and asking for their contract to finally be renewed. It looks like they were successful in getting this. And just more in the pilot shortage saga that has been going on for a while now. And obviously this is not helping anyone. And then finally, the last story this week is obviously we are in Oshkosh. Now today we are at the Airbnb because the weather wasn't so great this morning. We got woken up around 6 o'clock with a major storm rolling in, and our tent is okay at this stage. We had a big snafu on Saturday. We set up the tent, our big tent, and then the 2 legs that hold the tent, or 2 of the legs that hold the tent, snapped off completely and broke. We had to kind of go with a makeshift tent on Monday, and then on Monday night, one of our team members from Arizona flew in and brought in our backup tent, which is a little bit smaller. We still have the aircraft. We still have an amazing tent, an amazing presence. Everybody is good now. But yeah, it has been a challenging couple of days. So we're going to head back to the flight line very soon here, and we're going to be talking to people. Thank you for all of us that stopped by and said hi. We love seeing a lot of you fans. It was really heartwarming yesterday to see a big group of students coming in, and 5 or 6 of them getting in the plane, taking pictures with us, getting some cool swag that we have at the tent. So make sure you stop by, make sure you say hi. We always love talking to students. And that's it for this news update. We will see you next week back in our normal environment, where it's not humid. It's still hot, but not humid. And you have a great week.